The second element on the periodic table of elements is helium. This is Norris Teaches Science with me, Mr. Norris, another physical science edition video. And today we're going to talk about measurement types. And so the goal for this video is to say that I can understand and apply the four different types of measurements. So what are measurements? If you haven't been watching my videos, most times I start off with a definition and then we expand on that definition. So what are measurements? This is data that is collected during experiment. And when we do measurements, we also need to use this SI unit when representing these numbers. SI stands for Standard International. So what this means is if we use a standard international system and we write all of our numbers with these SI units, anyone who looks at our numbers will be able to understand what that number means and interpret it. So standard means common, international means worldwide, so that anyone around the world can look at it and understand it. So we could do an experiment in class, write our units in SI units. I send all of the data and instructions from my classroom to another classroom, say in Germany, and they can do the experiment. They can get their data and compare their data to our data and know what's going on. So measurement types. The first one's called length. And this is the straight line distance between 2 points. And so when we use our SI units, we're going to use the unit meters and its variations like centimeters or kilometers or millimeters, as long as it's in the meter form. And the tools we use to find length is a meter stick or a ruler. Side note, do you know how many meters are in a meter stick? It's a trick. It's 1 meter. 1 meter is in a meter stick. The next measurement type is called temperature. And temperature is how much heat is given off by an object, or in a sense, how hot or cold an object is. The SI unit technically is Kelvin, which we represent by K. In most scientific classrooms, we're going to use it in Celsius because we're not using big temperatures. And the tool to find it is thermometers. The next measurement type is mass. And mass is how much matter is in an object. The SI unit is kilograms, but you can use grams or milligrams as long as it's in a gram sense. And the tool to find it are balances and scales. Now, I need to make a note. There's a difference between mass and weight. Mass will never change from place to place. Weight is dependent on gravity. And at some point in these videos, you're going to learn to calculate scientific weight. The next measurement type is volume. And volume is how much space an object takes up. But objects come in 3 different forms. You can have a liquid object, a regular object, and an irregular object. And depending on the object is dependent on the unit and how you find it. So we're going to talk about that. So measurement volume of a liquid. How do you find the volume of a liquid? Well, we're going to use a graduated cylinder. And the SI unit is going to be liters or milliliters. And so how you find it, you take your liquid, you pour it in the cylinder, and you read the level. So if we look here, I have a graduated cylinder in this picture, and it has a measurement of liquid in it. And we're trying to figure out what the milliliter is. So first off, the liquid will curve, and you need to read at the bottom of the curve, known as the meniscus. All right. Then we have to look. These long lines represent 1, and the small lines represent 0.5. Here's 20, 20.5, 21, 21.5. So this is 21.5 milliliters. And that's how you would find the volume of a liquid. To find the volume of a regular object is a little different. A regular object is something with defined sides, like a block or a book. It means you have a length, you have a width, you have a height. You're going to use a ruler here, and the unit will be cubic centimeters because you're going to be multiplying here. So how you find it, you do length times width times height. So you can see in the picture here, we have the length being 7 centimeters, the height being 4 centimeters, and the width being 15 centimeters. You do 7 times 15 times 4, and you get 420 cubic centimeters, or centimeters cubed. So that's how you would find the volume of a regular object. The volume of an irregular object is a little different. Irregular objects are ones that do not have defined sides. You're going to use a graduated cylinder. Its unit is going to be liters or milliliters, depending on how much water you have to use. And the process is called water displacement. So let's go over that. How to do water displacement. So we have this irregular object, this toy T-Rex, and we're trying to find the volume of it. You're going to place an amount of water in the graduated cylinder and record that amount. When doing this in a scientific lab and you know your object is not that big, use about 10 milliliters to 20 milliliters. Once you have your water in there, you need to record the amount. So here we have 4.2, 0.4, 0.6, 0.8. 4.8 milliliters in there right now. And then you're going to place your object in there gently. You do not want water to splatter. You're going to want to tilt the graduated cylinder on its side and kind of just slide the object in so you're not splashing water anywhere, or you won't get a correct amount. So we place it in. What happens is the water level rises, so we need to record the new water level. Here's it's at 5.2, 0.4, 0.6. 5.6 milliliters. Then you're going to subtract the two. So 5.6 minus 4.8. That is what we're going to do. 5.6 minus 4.8. Doing it on a calculator, we get 0.8 milliliters. And that is the volume of the toy. And that's how you would do water displacement. And so that's how you find measurements and the different measurements out there. I really hope you learned something with this physical science video. Please come back and watch more. But I'm Mr. Norris. I'm out for this video.